Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to blow your mind. Mainly because Tales of Arcadia warned us about the Rise of the Titans ending before it happened. And to see what I mean, just stay to the end of the video. Alright, so we all know the Rise of the Titans ending. It was unforgettable. And not in a good way. It left us with a lot of what ifs, maybes, and could haves. And I, for one, hate that ending mainly because what if? Could have. Maybe. There's just too many possibilities. Sure, some people might like the imagination of us trying to decide what happened. But in my personal opinion, I do not like that ending. I like closure. So their ending was probably one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen in the show. Even more than when Jim became a troll. But the truth is, if we were paying attention, they warned us about what was going to happen since season 1. Now, if you don't know what I mean, I have some, well, not like theories, but I have some proof behind my theory right here for you. I'm going to show the clips mainly because I want to show that I'm proving a point, and second, because I want to. Third, I hope I don't get copyrighted. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you both fast. Alright, so in this clip, it takes place in Season 1, Episode 3, Wherefore Art Thou, Troll Hunter. I'm just going to go ahead and show it for you. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted. Okay, well, story time. So I tried to show the clip, but I got copyrighted. Thankfully, I didn't get a copyright claim, but it's more of like it got taken down from YouTube. So instead of showing you the clip, I'm just going to tell you what the clip says. So this is in Troll Hunter Season 1, Episode 3, Wherefore Art Thou, Troll Hunter. And in this part, Vindel introduces himself to Toby, thinking that Toby was the Troll Hunter. He calls Toby the Troll Hunter. Is that a coincidence? I think not. Okay, so in that clip, Vindel introduces himself to Toby, assuming that Toby's the Troll Hunter. Now, back in the day, I thought this was just a joke. Like, okay, funny. But no, it's not a joke anymore. Like, that was probably a foreshadowing of what was going to happen. I mean, they might not have known it at that time, but it's a foreshadowing of Toby becoming the Troll Hunter later in the future at the end of Rise of the Titans. Now, there's a few more like scenes and clips that kind of caught my eye. I'm like, well, they kind of warned us about what was going to happen at the end of Rise of the Titans. Okay, so the next part that kind of caught my eye is in Season 3, after the gang meets Merlin. He's talking to Jim, and he expects Jim to be older. Well, I'll go ahead and just show the clip for you. Anyways, in this clip, Merlin's talking to Jim about being older. Now, granted, being older doesn't really make sense because, you know, Jim does get older in Rise of the Titans. So it's definitely showing that Jim would be the Troll Hunter older in the future. What does this imply to Toby being the Troll Hunter? It really doesn't imply anything. But it does imply that Merlin probably remembers Jim from Wizards, and Jim does go back in time in Wizards as Troll Jim. Now, they're completely different people, but he is taller, and he does say that in that part, that he thought that Jim would be much taller. So that doesn't really have anything to do with Rise of the Titans, but it was kind of a foreshadowing that Jim would probably change or become older, and he's older in Rise of the Titans. He's actually 18 in Rise of the Titans. He's 16 in Troll Hunters. Well, 15 at the beginning of Season 1, but then halfway he becomes 16. So basically, it really has nothing to do with Rise of the Titans, but okay, but I have more about Rise of the Titans ending, trust me. Okay, that's the next part we're getting into. The next part I noticed was actually in 3 Below, the episode Deja Vu. I think I said the name right. Anyways, in this episode, pretty much the whole thing kind of is an Easter egg to it, but really this one part caught my eye, so I was like, okay, gotta make a video about this. Alright, so this is the clip that was kind of hard to explain about, but we've all seen this episode, Deja Vu. Basically, what happens is Krell resets time. That way, they're not in that time loop anymore. But when he resets it, things do change. They don't follow the same course that they would have because he reset the time. And also, nobody remembers, except Asha kind of hints that she does remember. She kind of says Toby's catchphrase, awesome sauce, but she claims to only have heard it in that episode. So, I don't know, a little sus to me, but yeah. Is it just me, or could that be applying to Rise of the Titans at the end? Okay, now I know the whole episode was probably just so people would still watch 3 Below, that way Jim was in it, but I'm just going to be honest with you, that ending part when Blinky says the whole time and friendship thing, that was definitely a Rise of the Titans foreshadowing. I completely believe that, because Aja and Krell, they still end up meeting the Troll Hunters, and they still end up being friends. Now, that only gives me hope for after Rise of the Titans, that the rest of the Tales of Arcadia, the future of Tales of Arcadia, is that eventually they will end up meeting each other. And I feel like they probably didn't mean it that way, but I'm taking it on that way, is that there is going to be happily ever after for the Tales of Arcadia series and the characters. Okay, so then there's a few more. Actually, I think there's just one more that I can recall, but it's in Wizards. And at first, I thought this was just a romantic quote by Claire, but no, she's serious about actually dating him 1,000 lifetimes in this clip right here. Alright, so in this clip, it's near the end of Wizards. Jim has accepted his fate that he cannot get the Shard of Evil out of him, so basically he's gonna die. But Claire tells Jim that she'd date him 1,000 lifetimes. Like I said, at first, romantic. Aw, I date you 1,000 lifetimes, Jim. But seriously? Tell me if I'm wrong. That is definitely foreshadowing that Jim would go back in time and relive his life again. And that she would fall in love with him again. She would date him 1,000 lifetimes. She said so. So, yes. If you were watching very closely beforehand of Tales of Arcadia, you might not be so surprised at the end of the Rise of the Titans. I'm sure there's a ton of more Easter eggs or like glimpses or even scenes, faces the characters might make even, that'd be like, huh, interesting. I'm going to have to rewatch all of Tales of Arcadia again now that I know the ending of Rise of the Titans. Like I said, the ending was unsatisfying to me, but knowing that some of these things might change, I mean, might not seem so bad now. I'm learning to like the end of Rise of the Titans. Anyways, I hope this was very interesting for you guys to watch. I hope you guys can find more like Easter eggs at the end of Rise of the Titans through the Tales of Arcadia series. If you do, throw them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them because I find it honestly also fascinating. And, well, that's pretty much it. Keep it crispy. Have a lively day.